Hey guys, been a minute. Welcome back to Dicentra. Last time in Dicentra, we got rid of or let go of that one fungus ghost, and we ended up seeing what the witch looked like. It's a big, tall man with red eyes. So yeah, let's go back to where we were at. The morning air is cool against my face. My eyes close in appreciation, knowing it won't stick around as the day grows heavy with the midsummer heat. I shift awkwardly in the window seat as I watch the sky grow brighter. The wolf sleeps so soundly in the small blanket I had placed down for him. He would probably puff up if he knew he was sleeping with his belly exposed to me so comfortably. I feel my lips stretch into a small smile, then a frown. It was so quiet that I couldn't sleep. When it's quiet, I can hear every little sound in the house, and it makes it easy for me to notice that something is missing. There's one less ghost to bump in the night. Yeah, that's the one we let go of. She didn't want to. Because remember they found like the items in the chest or whatever, and it was like a piece of it, I believe. So that's why like the ghosts have basically been rotting away. That's why they have that sort of like visage, when you see them. It was super spooky. So I guess maybe we'll get through all of them. My ears are waiting for sounds that aren't there. My eyes are waiting for shapes that aren't there. Why is it that the ghost of a ghost has so much more presence? Something breaks me from my thoughts. I hear a slight cooing sound right next to me. I look down and see a small brown bird sitting on the sill of my open window. My mouth parts. A mourning dove. It softly calls to me and hops on the weightless feet. I lean forward and slowly reach my fingers out towards it, wondering if its feathers are as soft as they look. It flies away before I can touch it. I let out a soft gasp and the corners of my mouth fall once again. I pull my hand back and lean my head back against the wall. I let out a sigh as I watch the dove disappear into the sky. The sun has started to rise over the trees, and its light hits the painted colors on my window. Like everything about this place, I have it memorized. The same clouds, the same shades of blue and pink, the same rays of light that pierce through the leaves, the same shadows. A foolish part of me keeps thinking the day will come where I finally get to see a sky I've never seen before. Wood creaks. Only one person makes that sound. His day has begun. I search for a glimpse of the morning dove again. Instead of wings that fly around freely, all I see is the sky as it begins to bleed red. The brightness of the sun is smothered as the false moon devours it, takes its place like a celestial doppelganger. Out of the corner of my eye, the rainbow lights that dappled my room have vanished. I close my eyes and rummage through the depths of my thoughts for somewhere to hide. Today be a good day. Bad day. I hear the wolf snore and look down at him. I said I would help distract you, but it's been you who's been helping distract me. Chapter 3. Moon. The sun is gone. I open my eyes, blinking in confusion. I've completely forgotten what had woken me up in the first place. I distinctly remember falling asleep to glittering stars and darkness, so I'm surprised to see the moon still so high in the sky. Red. So much red. Scarlet bleeds to every corner of the sky. The light from its atmosphere bounces off the floorboards of Dove's room, casting everything in an ominous glow. I thought we had gone to bed late. We must not have been sleeping long. I stare at the full moon outside. My heart is pumping like it knows something my brain doesn't. I must be on edge from lack of sleep. It's interesting how we switch back and forth between like Dove and Basil. Because like I think at the beginning of the last chapter before it gave the title for it, we also had Dove's perspective for a little bit. To me, I thought it was kind of weird that we'd even like bother to do that, right? Like, I don't know. But we'll see though. We'll see. I don't know if that like means anything, but I don't feel tired. The moon's face appears strange to me. Something in its light unnerves me, as if it's watching diligently for my reaction. Like it can't wait for me to unravel the secret it harbors. I feel my fur grow stiff. I swallow. It's morning. But why on earth was the... I jump 6 feet into the air when someone bangs on the door to Dove's bedroom. Out of instinct, I rush under the desk beside Dove's bed. I remember it clearly now. It was that exact banging noise that pulled me from my sleep in the first place. Dove suddenly appears before me and, wow, clamps a hand around my muzzle. I wasn't expecting her to, to pull up like this. I start to squeal, but she throws a finger in front of her mouth to silence me. The banging continues. I hear someone rattle the locked doorknob. Dove, open the door. Dove glances in the direction of the man calling for her. Just a moment, Father. Oh, Father. Dove's neutral answer is a stark contrast to my trembling form. Her gaze swings back to me, and before I know it, I'm being hauled off my feet. My immediate reaction is to thrash in Dove's arms. She's about to offer me up to the witch? I try to whimper through the iron grip around my snoot, but she squeezes tighter. Shh. Freeze in her arms. My eyes are wide and in full alert, and my chest expands rapidly from my frantic breathing. Dove offers no form of comfort. Instead, she spares me one last glance before she throws me into darkness. I land on plush blankets with a small bounce and a slight yelp. I see a small glimpse of Dove staring down at me before she closes the gap between the thick curtains of her canopied bed and extinguishes all of the light. It's like I've suddenly been thrown into a pit. My ears twitch at every subtle noise. The scent of wilting lilacs floods my senses. It's as if Dove sleeps with decaying flowers in her pillowcase every night. Ew, wilting flowers smell horrible. Unless lilacs are different or something, it's like not good. My heavy breathing sounds so loud in the darkness, I try to tame it as best I can, and fear that it can be heard beyond the curtains that shroud me. I hear Dove's bare feet drag along the wooden floor, then a click, then a creak, then heavy footsteps enter the room. My bones nearly jump out of my skin from the sound of lightning that breaks through the quiet. Wasn't it clear just a moment ago? I swallow hard. New noises start to appear out of nowhere. Are we going to get to them talking, or are we going to keep describing every single thing that happens? Like, wind howls outside so loud it's like ghosts humming in unison right outside the window, crying to be let in. Dove's bed curtains begin to ripple, revealing slivers of red light. I can't find Babel anywhere. My entire body tenses when footsteps land right in front of me. The curtains flicker again. Then all I can see is him. You wouldn't happen to know where they are, would you? Dove's father stares down at her from the tip of his nose. His hands are crossed behind his back. They look like they're in front of me. I don't know. Did you check the rooftop garden? Yes. The kitchen? Yes. Under the table, perhaps. Dove, enough with your games. The witch closes his eyes and rubs the bridge of his nose. Find that bloody ghost, or I'll find a replacement. Is that a threat? Yes, Father. When he opens his eyes again, I see his eyes catch on to something I can't see. The tension in the room suddenly rises. Wait. The blanket on the floor. Fear begins to claw its way up my throat, threatening to spill out in a cry. The witch's eyes drag upwards to Dove, into the walls. He begins to search around the room. I stop breathing. The sound of the storm becomes muffled for a moment, amplifying the sound of every creak and heartbeat inside the house. The noise in the darkness of Dove's bed makes me go completely still. It sounds like wood knocking together. And by the looks of it, I'm not the only one that's heard it. Hey, look at Dove's face. She's like, oh, bro. The witch stares directly into the dark, between the curtains. My urgency to stay hidden isn't shared, it seems. Red eyes peer right at me. Every beat of my heart like an eternity passing by. He looks away. I think it's fair to consider myself the biggest fool of all time considering where I've landed myself. But I'm not foolish enough to let out a breath of relief just yet. Alright, just one more thing. The witch reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small black pouch with dots of silver on it. I asked a sister to craft a small gift for you. I see him place the pouch in Dove's tiny hand. Then I hear the clinking of delicate metal. Thank you. The witch nods, then turns and makes his way out, finally disappearing from my view. Now go and find Babel for me. I have much to do. Dove's door slams close. Whatever hides with me rattles again from the vibrations of the door, and I take that as my cue to launch myself out from the canopy. Tumble out from the dark curtains and slam right into a pile of books, sending me into a dizzying heap on the floor. Once the ache in my body wanes, I shake my head to get my bearings back. This is something that kind of confuses me, because I said this before, right? The way that Basil speaks is almost as if he can like perceive himself like as a wolf, like outside of this, right? Like he's rational in some sense, but he still just acts just like a wolf. Like, I don't know, like it's like it makes me feel like that maybe he was like a human before or whatever, and he can't control like these animal instincts, because he mentions his grandmother like talking about stuff. I don't know. I don't know his past or anything like that, but it's still kind of odd to me that we have this like dialogue where he's able to perceive every single thing as like a logical human being, but he's not able to react like a logical human being like half the time. There's like the weird juxtaposition in my head to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm like thinking too much about it, but I just that kind of like bugs me some here and there. Dove's room was already a mess, but now it looks like a hurricane has swept through it. Stacks of books have been shoved around and knocked over. The furniture has been pulled away from the walls and left askew. Loose sheets of paper cover huge sections of the floor, leaving little paths of clear floorboard left to walk on. How on earth did I sleep while she made this mess? I finally look for Dove and find her standing by the window. Rain beats violently against the glass panes. The storm outside rages in full force, and the temperature in the manor has dropped significantly since yesterday. Dove holds something up close to her face that reflects the bright white of the lightning outside. A bracelet. Tiny charms hang from the thin silver chain. A rose, a sun, a moon, and a heart. Dove seems completely enamored by it in a way I've never seen before. Hey. I stare, captured by the sight of her. Warmth colors her pale cheeks, and a new brightness softens her eyes. My heart tightens. Wait a second, what exactly was that again? Tiny charms. Oh, it's a bracelet. Tiny charms from the silver chain, a rose, a sun, and the moon, and a heart. Okay, just make sure that I have that in my head. Because I kind of like read it without registering it, you know what I'm saying? I've forgotten, or maybe I keep refusing to acknowledge it because I've had to rely on her confidence so much. But Dove is just a child, just like me. She's unsettling and abrasive, yet when I see her like this, or when I see her get excited over something, I want to look at her up close. Maybe to see whether I'm hallucinating or not. Or maybe this Dove burns like a star. Her face glows a blinding light, and her hair is the dark expanse that cradles it. I mean, have you seen her, Daddy? Before Dove, I've only ever known stars from within my reach. Dove moves away from the window to the desk beside the bed. She sets her black pouch down, places the bracelet on it like a display. She seems to like it a lot. Does she not want to wear it? Her attention has already moved on from it, however. Now, what to do? Dove twirls around and twirls around and faces me with her hands on her hips. There is no babble to find. I perk up and my ears stand up straight. There are other ghosts to find. Once Dove gives the clear for us to move out of her room, the first thing I notice is how different the house has become once again. Like when I first arrived, it's cold and threatening. All of Dove's efforts to make the mansion more homely seem to have been undone, as though it were nothing but an illusion spell. Dust kicks the floor, spiders crawl on webs, and dark corners in the windows cast red panes of light that do little to brighten its surroundings. I lead the way on cautious paws, vaguely remembering the way to the study. When we finally get there, I realize there's a problem. The study is now occupied. I peek through a crack in the door and the witch busies himself with grinding herbs in a mortar. To his side, I see a floating quill pen moving on its own, jotting down notes he mutters underneath his breath while he twists the pestle. I wish I could do that. I look under the desk he works at and spot the chest with the ghost remains peering out of the shadows. The day after Babel left, Dove had returned to the study and put the chest back into its place. I didn't anticipate sharing this space with its owner so soon, so the thought of taking the chest didn't cross my mind. Dove hovers above me and takes a glimpse inside as well. Her expression turns green with shock. Wait, you're not thinking of getting the rest of the ghost's belongings, are you? I nod eagerly. eyes grow wide. Is babble not enough? I blink. What's wrong now? My brows pinch together. I shake my head and hear Dove's breath hitch. I look back to the chest. We can't just stop at one. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Dove take a step back and twist my head to look at her again. Her hands clutch around the skirt of her nightgown. She looks at me, conflicted. Not knowing how else to convince her, I slowly walk toward her. Dove stiffens as I approach her. I pause right before her, and she looks down at me in anticipation. I blink at her, then I brush my body against her legs. Dove gasps above me. I push against her and curl my tail around her ankles. Dove stands still as a statue as I run my fur around her legs, causing her to stumble slightly from the force she didn't expect me to use. After I finish circling her, I look up at her with bright eyes in hopes that this time I can get her to put faith in me. Well, I mean, to be fair, apparently her dad's dangerous, right? You don't really know anything about this place. You're just now learning when you come in here. I understand you don't want the ghosts to suffer anymore, but he immediately came to her and was like, where the hell is Babel? Like, what's going on? Either you find Babel or I'm going to make another Babel, meaning he's probably going to go out and kill somebody and stick their ghost in the mansion and start it all over again. So I think he should maybe try to find a way to do this, or I don't know. I don't even know if there's another way. What do I know? I don't need anything. I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's go. Dove peers down at me with a blush on her cheeks before closing her eyes and taking a deep breath. He then pushes past me and enters the study. Father, water is dripping from the ceiling of the library. What? Hells, did the books get wet? Hurried footsteps make their way to the door, and I quickly scurry to the shadows to hide. The witch stomps out of the study with Dove hot on his heels. She casts a quick... Okay, that was fast, okay. She casts a quick glance at where I skulk before they both disappear down the hall. I waste no time running into the study. It's my turn. I'm breathing hard when I make my way back to Dove's bedroom. The second I shut the door behind my paw, I spit out the ghost's belongings from my mouth and wipe the tongue on the fur of my arm. I look at the pouch, bundle of hair, and bone on the floor. Gods, I hope that wasn't disrespectful. I twist my head to search around the room. Dove hasn't returned yet. Should I look for her? Or should I try to burn these in one go? A knot forms in the pit of my stomach at the thought. No, Dove needs to be the one that does it. Feeling resolved, I pick up the artifacts with my teeth again and look around for somewhere to hide them. My eyes land on my quilt on the floor, and I pad over to it. I dig my nose under the corner to flip it over, then gently place the objects flat on the ground before I flip the corner back over them. That's inconspicuous enough for now, I suppose. Hopefully by now the witch has returned to his study, and will remain there busy with whatever he was doing, so I can go find one of the ghosts. I gravely underestimated how easy it would be to find the other ghosts. Babel, like the hallway ghosts, seems to have some semblance of a pattern. But the rest? Well, considering how little I know about them, they're proven to be much more difficult to pin down. I feel like I should have these nonsense hallways memorized by now. I still find myself getting dizzy from walking through them in circles. Can they clarify this already? Is it that these halls change over and over again, or is it you just don't know? Because I'm a little bit confused by that. Like, is the place so big that you don't actually know where you're going, or you get mixed up? Or is it that they actually changed? Because he's like, I know where to go, but I don't know where to go. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I let out a huff in frustration as I quietly survey a hall from around the corner, only to find nothing once more. Stupid ghost. A voice yells from down the hall, and my heart all but leaps out of my chest. You must really like the feeling of falling. Do I have to send you flying again for you to learn how to stay out of my way? I don't recognize the voice, but the sound of dragging that follows is awfully familiar. Well, I quickly spun around and... Well now, who might you be? The air in my lungs feels like it's been punched out of me. Figure stands before me and looks down at me like a cat that enjoys playing with its food before it eats it. His eyes are wide, and his smug grin is feral. Does Dove have a brother? Because this boy looks just like her. The only difference is a smudge of dark markings around his blood-red eyes. Can't be. There's another witch here? You're not like the other pets that she tried to keep. The boy circles around my petrified form like a predator. Also, I'm sorry that everybody just sounds the same. I'm just not good at making other voices, okay? Down the hall, I catch a sight of Grell disappearing around the corner. Let out an internal cry, seeing the opportunity to catch it slip away from me. The child steps in front of me once again, blocking the way. I'm not a fan of intruders. He glances behind me. But fortunately for you, she is of a different opinion. My ears perk up at the sound of feet slapping on wood. A white gown takes over my vision as Dove skids to a stop in front of me. Wild hair flutters like delicate feathers with the heavy breaths she takes. I wonder what the mom looks like then. What are you doing? The boy grins and crosses his arms behind his back. Oh, nothing. I was just... The boy's eyes cut to me hiding behind Dove's skirt. His gaze is sharp like a knife. Saying hello. Dove's hands curl into fists. Just hello? The child chuckles. Well, it's far too early to say goodbye, isn't it? It seems we've lured in something quite interesting this time. I swallow. We? And the blood caps seem to be blooming well from the last one, so I have no need for this one. He narrows his eyes at me. Yet. I can see Dove go rigid. The boy bends at the waist to see me better, but she steps in front of me to block his view. My. So protective of your new little pet, aren't you? Leans back again and retreats a step. Very well. He's a special one, I suppose. Glint in his eye makes me feel completely exposed. I can't wait to see how long this one lasts. Dove seems to take that as a sign to hightail it away from this boy as she sweeps me off the ground and crushes me against her chest. Stay away from him. As Dove carries me away, I keep eye contact with the boy, who maintains a sly smirk and watches the distance grow between us. Need to tell me twice. Just before we round the corner, I see the boy suddenly stumble forward and break into a violent cough. Dove's pace. My brain split that off into pale face for some reason. Dove's pace falters for a moment, but she manages to speed up to get us away faster. Dove has not spoken another word to me since we ran from the boy in the hallway. Logically, that makes sense. I'm not human after all. That hasn't stopped her from doing it anyways. I still have yet to wrap my mind over the encounter with someone new. Someone who was a witch. I think some of Dove's stress is rubbing off on me. Dove has always been the most composed between us, so to see her acting so antsy has me incredibly on edge. I didn't think either of you were composed. You're both a little bit jittery, but I mean, she's like a kid and you're like a cub, so I get it. Anything that worries her worries me even more. Dove sits where I now expect her to be most of the time, on the floor. I guess it shouldn't be surprising that the little side table she had previously repaired has fallen apart once again. Her solution to get it standing again is to slather it with thick globs of glue and wrap even more twine around it. This plan is not working as well as it did the first time. I can see Dove lose her patience with every new wrap around the broken wood with twine. I count every new impatient twirl Dove makes with the twine. 21. 22, 23. Oh, twine ran out. Dove stares at the empty roll with a stunned expression. I feel anxious looking at her. Did she think it would go on forever? A shadow falls over her face. I brace myself. Dove shoots to her feet with the table in her hands and smashes it to pieces on the floor. I narrowly avoid the splinters of wood flying toward me. Dove stands up, panting and staring at the mess she created. Stupid old. The broken leg of the side table hangs loosely in her hand, but not for long. Why must I always have to fix everything by myself? Her fingers wrap around it tightly, then without warning, she throws it with all her might at the wall covered in mirrors. I wince, my ears flatten at the sound of glass shattering. Screeching. Dove's hands fly to her ears to smother the screams that come from the broken mirrors. She pinches her eyes together before opening them to throw a smoldering glare at the reflective shards. Quiet! I've never seen Dove lose her temper like this. Somehow, I can almost completely ignore whatever on earth had created this screaming, which had quickly died down after Dove's scolding, in favor of watching her pace a circle into the floor. The more time I spend with Dove, the more she gives me the side of her I've never seen before. Well, I mean, I think she's understandably frustrated. It seems like she's not really enjoying her life. She feels really stuck. She feels powerless. Her dad scares the hell out of her. She's got you here trying to get her to like change stuff that's been going on for a long time. And she just ran into her brother who scares the hell out of her. So it's like, and who might be sick and dying. Who knows? Like, I get it. At this point, I could fill a room of portraits displaying all of her complexities. Dove terrifies me so much. But at some point, the fear I felt for her changed from the kind that makes me want to run from the hills to the kind that makes me want to stay and see what happens. What do I do? What do I do? Dove gnaws on her thumbnail as she paces back and forth. A deep wrinkle forms between her brows by the time she finally slows to a halt. Dove stops chewing on her nail and looks down at me. My eyes widen when I see the face she wears. I don't want him to take you too. The tears line Dove's eyes. My heart sinks. She sniffles and wipes her face with the sleeve of her gown. The fear on her face disappears when she brings her arm back down. In its place is a fiery determination. Dove storms out of the room, leaving the dining room looking far more chaotic than when I first arrived. Something about this sight makes my heart start to race. This whole time I've been searching for any little crack in the wall that will lead to my freedom. Maybe I've been trying to break open the wrong thing. Dove makes her way to the supply closet in the hallway again. She yanks it open with both hands and hunches down to dig for something. Her eyes light up when she finally finds what she's looking for. I hear the sound of glass rattling. I brush against her side and look at what she's found. Dove takes out a jar with what appears to be glass beads and charms. I tilt my head curiously. She retrieves a couple more items from the closet before we make the journey back to her bedroom. The moment we reach Dove's room, she makes her way to the clearest spot to sit on the floor and faces back to me. I startle when I feel a lump underneath my blanket as I settle into it. Oh, right, the ghosts. I was so close to getting to Grell, but I think navigating the halls will be much more perilous with that strange boy roaming around. I don't know what his relationship with Dove is, but it's clearly related. And honestly, I can't say I'm itching to learn more about him. Witch and the boy. All I need to know is that I should stay clear whenever they're near. Stay away from men. That's the lesson. I look to see what Dove is doing. She seems to be completely immersed in whatever she's doing. My eyes roam around the room. I spot a random book that had been thrown open, probably when Dove had decided to redecorate. Pulling myself forward on my paws, I scoot up to it and trail over the words on the open pages. A book on toxic plants. A yawn forces my jaws open. I blink at the drawings on the page. Oh, I think I saw that flower on the rooftop garden. Done. My head snaps up. I fell asleep. The gentle tap of rain against the window is the first thing I notice as my senses come back to me from the fog of sleep. My head turns to look outside. Surrounded by gray storm clouds, the moon continues to hold watch over the manor from the exact same spot as earlier. Everything about this place feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare. Maybe I'm actually still at home right now, being carried to bed by my grandmother, and this is all just a bad dream. Now, I know better. In a world like this, monsters are as common as cats. A shuffling sound draws my eyes away from the window. I look over at Dove and watch as her back straightens. She stands and makes her way over to me, holding something in her hand. She kneels in front of me, looking nervously at her closed palms before opening them. The shadows from the storm clouds roll around the room with the reflections of waves on the ocean floor. Beams of moonlight break through and bounce off the object that hangs from Dove's fingers. It's a necklace, messily arranged on a red string, with mismatched glass beads that hug a small leaf ornament made of a shiny silver metal. The brightness of it contests the small smile Dove wears as she presents it to me. We get to see it. One thing I really wanted to see was that was the spider that was attached to like that like was on the what do you call it, like the middle part of like the book. What do you, the spine, is that what it's called? I forget what it's called. But there was like a spider on that that like jumped on Basil. I thought we would maybe get like an illustration of that. That would have been cool to see, even though I don't really care for spiders. Red adorns her pale cheeks and forehead, sticking out so darkly she almost looks feverish. She sucks in a deep breath. Another deep breath. Can't do magic yet. She lowers her head, avoiding my gaze. But this will help protect you. I stare at Dove, dumbfounded. My heart beats hard in my chest. Dove's fingers tremble around the necklace she had made for me. For me? What about her? Who protects you, Dove? I glance behind her. Besides the lock on your door. My eyes start to burn as I look back at her. She finally meets my gaze, waiting for my response. Except the necklace. The necklace looks so fragile. I wonder what was running through her head as she arranged every bead. Did she agonize over the colors, the shapes? If I've learned anything about Dove, is that she seems to work hard at whatever she does, even if it's not that good at it. Even if she's not that good at it, sorry. I study the necklace, trying to imagine every decision she had made. Actually, now that I look at it, the charm she put on the necklace almost looks like a basil leaf. Is that simply coincidence? I slowly rise from the floor and step closer to Dove. She watches me anxiously. I right-click. She watches me anxiously and grips the necklace with white knuckles. I hold her blue eyes in mine. Then I lower my head towards her. I hear Dove breathe a sigh of relief. I think he was gonna like it. That's what I look like? I'm gonna get rid of this real quick so I could just see the whole picture. I close my eyes as she so carefully brings the necklace over my head and places it around my neck. Somehow, the weight of the necklace helps me feel less vulnerable. Dove gives me a small smile and quickly pulls her hands back to her lap. The necklace holds no magic, but if Dove believes this can help keep me safe, I want to believe her too. Ooh. We're getting music. Nice, I like that. A loud noise bolts me awake. A quick glance at the window shows calamitous storm clouds that roar and light up with branches of lightning. I wasn't expecting the singing, sorry, they got me for a sec. Rain drums against the window violently. Wind makes the frame tremble. I can barely tell what time it is anymore. Loud music disrupts my thoughts. The song playing is scratchy and reverberates throughout the walls. I'm surprised they don't tremble from how thunderous it is. My ears press flat, and I reach my paws up to dampen the blaring noise further. Loud thumps and a voice accompany the music. I watch the door and consider double-checking to see if it's locked. Fuck! Fuck's sake! My blood thunders in my ears. What on earth is going on? Laying so exposed on the floor makes my skin crawl. The air feels uncomfortably warm and damp. The heat makes everything in my vision shimmer like infernal illusions. I swallow and search for Dove in the dark. Abnormal as she is, I can't imagine anyone being able to sleep in these conditions. When my ears pick up the sound of tapping, I know my suspicions are correct. I find Dove kneeling at the foot of her bed. The sight of slightly open curtains behind her catches me off guard. It's heavily shadowed, I think. It looks like something is moving inside of the canopy. Fear pulls my gaze away. I focus on what Dove is doing. Clouds part just enough to let a streak of red into the bedroom. The sight behind Dove makes my heart rate jump. Rotting limbs and branches of hands manifest out of the shadows. Not approaching, just lurking, and for some reason, they're very vocal tonight. Gurgling growls, strained groans, and the sound of grinding glass grow louder and louder, as if competing against the other noises that violate the quiet of the night. My paw taps around my blanket until it finds a small lump. They're all gathered here. My eyes flick to Dove and widen when I see what she fiddles with. Dove's hands is a cross, or at least something crudely shaped to look like one. I'm unnerved by the sight of it. Dove tightly crosses together splintered wood with wires and string. She ties the wood together so tightly that chunks break off and litter the floor. Looks like one of those crosses in a graveyard outside. The only question is, who is it intended for? The sound of the ghosts have started to muffle the loud music. I notice Dove's stiff expression starts to melt into something slightly more serene. My palm moves off of the lump. Now is not a good time. My arms cross, and I rest my head on them to watch Dove work. I don't think I will be able to get back to sleep. Can't tell how much time has passed. The light of the moon shining in the Dove's room has become our daylight as much as our moonlight. Whether it is truly day or night, it's impossible for me to tell. A couple of candles light up the room. I suppose all there is left to do is convince our brains that it's the time to be awake. Dove sits at the window, completely focused on watching the trees like she's searching for something. She has the window open, allowing a cool breeze to blow in. When she notices me watching her, she pulls the window closed and stands. Ready to start today? No. I feel that. I can't sleep to get away from the nightmare. I've grown even more conscious of each second that passes ever since the witch and the boy have appeared. It's like it's all counting down to something I cannot possibly predict. To waste time sitting around doing nothing feels like a death sentence. I stand, perked up, ready to go. He looks down at me. You won't get in the way today. My head tilts in confusion, but Dove offers no explanation, simply makes her way out of the room. I slowly trail after her. Which he? We failed to find any ghosts so far today. I had even looked for the big grandfather clock in the hallway to try and see what time it was, but its hands have stopped moving. I sulk on the kitchen floor while Dove sits nearby, half-heartedly trying to mend the mess I've made of the kitchen wall. Her hands make slow and untrained brushstrokes, attempting to mimic the designs of the wallpaper in the spaces where my claws had torn through. I could see her mood drop with every shaky line and every uncontrolled bristle mark. She pulls her hand back to compare her clumsy floral paintings to the wallpaper. Her patience finally snaps, and throws the paintbrush onto the floor in resignation. Right as it meets the floor, I flinch. Dove doesn't. We both turn our heads to the hallway. A coil of stress unravels in my gut. Is it the witch, the boy, or is it a ghost? Dove doesn't take the time to weigh the odds like I do. Instead, she shoots up and goes to investigate. I steady my breathing, and chase after her. I almost gag at what we find on the floor of the hallway. Wind howls as it creeps in through a shattered window. The corpse of a crow lays in a mangled and bloody heap before us. The most ominous detail is its lack of a head. Dove crouches down and gives it a nudge with an unreadable expression. I guess we should clean it up. No, wait. How did this even get here? This is a regular occurrence around here as well. I don't have time to piece together a logical answer because we hear another crash just down the hall. We leave the bird as it is and track down the new noise. The same sight greets us once again. Broken window, dead, headless bird. Did we take a wrong turn and come back to the same hallway? I look up at Dove, searching for answers on her face. Her unreadable expression has started to crack, but only reveals her own bewilderment. It sounds like every window in the house has just exploded, all the way down toward Dove's room. Follow Dove's hurried steps further into the mansion. Every new dead crow we pass instills new panic in me. We don't bother inspecting each one. They're all the same. Dove rushes past each broken window with quick glances and hisses every time she steps on a shard of glass. The last crow we find sits near the door to Dove's room, both breathing heavily as we finally take a moment to pause. The dead crow lays unmoving in a splattered pool of blood. Sight makes my blood buzz with anxiety, which only feels heightened paired with a lack of sleep. I don't need to look for an explanation anymore. The signs of a bad omen could not be clearer. My legs hold me up unsteadily. Dove tries to catch her breath as she observes the bird, followed by the red sky beyond the now broken window. A frown tugs her mouth down, and I can see sweat drip down the side of her face. We both flinch at the sound of a slight tap coming from inside the room. The fur on my spine bristles. I slowly inch forward, and Dove limps behind me. Oh, hi, bird buddy. Bird buddy, big bird buddy. A ghost in Dove's room catches me by surprise. I hear Dove's breath hitch when she spots it by her window. Beak taps against the glass. Then the window creaks open. Oh, God. Dove didn't lock it earlier. I watch in horror as Grell's limbs start to crawl up the seat of the window. No! Dove bursts forward with her hands outstretched, but she stops just short of touching the ghost. Her hands tremble with hesitation. I can barely breathe. Grell twists its head as if to look at Dove one last time before it finally throws itself out the window. Dove breaks out of her daze and surges ahead again, but she's too late. Fingers barely even reach the wispy strings that protrude from Grell's long arms as it disappears to the ground below. She stumbles hard onto the window seat, bruising her knees. The sickly sound of crunchy bones and splattering flesh reach our ears. Dove gasps sharply. My eyes are wide and I feel bile start to rise from my stomach. I approach the window with my heart threatening to explode out of my chest. Dove lifts herself and peers out the window. Her body goes stiff with dread. I let out a shuddering breath, then join her on the bench. When I look down, my stomach clenches. Grell makes broken wheezes where it lays. Its limbs are twisted, and its carnage paints the grass from where its head had crashed against the hard earth. I stare, frozen with morbid curiosity as its legs twitch in an effort to get up again. You can't die if you're already dead, but you can suffer. Dove stumbles back from the window, no longer able to digest the sight of Grell's state of agony. Her feet tangle in my blanket as she falls backwards onto her rear. She whimpers from the ache, then blinks watery eyes at something. My eyes follow her line of sight and... oh. A small bone sits uncovered on the floor. The tag attached to it with Grell's name written on it quivers from the wind coming through the window. I jump down from the window. Dove's face darkens, then she starts moving quickly. I press against the wall, trying not to get in the way as she paces around the room gathering things. She grabs a small vial from the drawer, my empty metal dishes, a lit candle, finally, Grell's bone. She kneels on the floor, shoving books and loose papers out of her way before setting down her materials. She throws the bone into the bowl and pours a liquid, I'm assuming is some kind of oil, until it completely saturates it. I've only noticed now, but I think the bone might be one of the arm bones. Judging by its size and length, it does not belong to an adult. Dove grabs the candle and fixes her eyes on the bone before finally committing to the next step. Her jaw clenches. This whole time, you've only just wished to return home. How lucky you are to not belong here. Dove tips the candle into the dishes and the bone erupts in flames. Grell's groan of pain echoes in silence. The bone does not burn easily. I see Dove's lack of patience as her fingers curl into her palms. In the fire, I can see the small bone fracture and hear it pop from the heat. The white bone chars into gray, then black. Its texture flakes and sizzles. Dove decides she's waited long enough. Without hesitation, she slams the other metal bowl over the flame and smothers it. When she's confident the fire has been put out, she lifts the lid. Smoke billows from the bowl, causing Dove to wave her hands and cough. Smoke escapes out the window. She takes one look at the burned bone before she dumps the crumbling remains on the floor. Dove takes a deep breath. She starts smashing the bone with the flat bottom of the bowl. My throat tightens and my ears fall from the sound of Dove crushing the bone. She grips the bowl with both hands, raising her arms, then brings it down again and again. The loud clanging makes me cringe back. I hear something that resembles the ring of wind chimes, but Dove does not stop. I only watch in terror as Dove continues her beastly display. She only stops when her arms have finally turned numb, and the bowl slips out of her fingers. Wind moves to ashes on the floor in a spiral. Dove pants heavily. Her eyes are completely dull. Silence fills the air. I hop up to the window seat. I know what I see before I look down. Nothing. Not a trace of Grell's remains. A soft gale brushes against my fur. I look up. The moon had seen it all. It glares down upon us, not in disgust, but in glee. Dove barely speaks the next day, but the witch once again disrupts the night with loud sounds from his phonograph. Sometimes it sounds like he's conversing with someone. At first, I thought I would hear the voice of the boy from the hallway responding to him. It's someone completely else. It started. No, I've started to notice the witch's pattern. Dove must be very familiar with it. Every morning, it's like she can read the signs that will tell her what the witch will be doing for the day. I wonder if the signs apply for the boy as well. On the next quiet day, we search the manor for the other two ghosts. The remains stay hidden under my blanket. They refuse to show themselves. We spend the rest of our day in the library, melting from the humidity that not even the ceaseless rain can dampen. Dove focuses at her desk, furiously scratching away on notes and drawings. I didn't notice the difference when Babel had left. The Grell's disappearance feels like it's widened a crack. Ooh. I wonder how different that's going to be. Like, how much does this affect? How much trouble would she be in when the witch finds out? If he does find out. Well, I mean, he's going to obviously find out that the ghosts are gone, but, like, I don't know what huge significance they have. Because I know that Babel was a, more like a servant or whatever, who just kind of went around and, like, cleaned things up and did the flowers in the garden. What about everybody else? I don't think I heard that Grell did anything at all, unless I'm forgetting something. And I don't even remember the other two's name, but it just seemed like they were just wandering around. Anyway, I didn't notice the difference when Babel had left, but Grell's disappearance feels like it's widened a crack it had started. Dove. She's been incredibly on edge since the witch returned. How long has it been since lightness was able to find its way onto her face? A gnawing feeling makes me wonder. If I'm partly to blame, you literally are. What are you talking about? You literally are. You you don't care about whatever possible consequences. You don't even know what the possible consequences of these things are. You're just like, do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, partly to blame? Okay. Oh, okay. Dove pulls at her hair and blows out an irritated sigh. Her hands resentfully push away her work, and she stands. Tired. I lift myself up, ready to follow her back to her room. Then I hear the sound of a book hitting the floor. Go still and slowly turn my head to see a book has landed right beside me. A pale hand picks it up, and I startle, not noticing Dove had walked over. I watch as she lifts the book and shoves it back into place on the shelf. Her eyes flicker onto something before she once again moves away. My heart starts to beat anxiously. I take a peek in the same direction, and my eyes fix onto the window at the back of the library. It's the decayed foot that climbs the shelf. Decayed foot that climbs the shelf behind me in the reflection of the glass. This time, I hear a familiar drag when we step out into the hallway. It almost brings me comfort. I've learned there are people to be far more afraid of in this house. The bright apparition of the hallway ghost sweeps towards us. I forgot about you. Hello. I like our design a lot. It's really good. Her presence is like confirmation that the day has turned to night, and I cling to that. I let out a yawn and move out of the ghost's way. Dove watches her pass with the eyes of a hawk. Her neck twists as she follows the ghost's movement until it fades into the shadows. Her gaze lingers where it disappears. When she finally turns back, she blinks in surprise. Oh, hello. I snap my head around and find Odette standing right in front of Dove. I love this one's design so much, too. This one is cool. This is probably my favorite so far of the ghosts. One of the ghost's shadowy hands rises to its cracked face. Its fingers fold in a gesture like it's telling Dove to be quiet. Then its arms shoot out toward Dove. Dove's screams ring down the hallway. My ears go completely limp as I balk at the sight of Dove getting dragged away. Let go! Tendrils of phantom arms wrap around Dove's torso. Smoke rises from the touch between her and the ghost, forcing a loud shriek from Dove. Never suspected Odette to ever do something like this to Dove. I thought they would never do anything to hurt Dove. So why was it doing this? Dove's feet kick and try to perch on the floor, but they only slip out from under her. Stop it! The ghost continues to drag her down the hallway. I snap out of my shock and chase after Dove and the ghost. Bark, bark, bark. I growl and bare my teeth at the ghost, but it makes no difference. How do I get it to let go? Panic starts to fill me. I try to bite the ghost. I don't give myself time to hesitate, and I sink my teeth into the ghost's skirt. A fiery sensation explodes in my mouth. My throat makes a cry as I violently pull away. I heave onto the floor and taste iron. Phantom burns. God, I have to help Dove. Only one solution comes to mind. Odette's remains. I turn tail and bolt down the hallway. Dove's cries carry down the corridor as if it chases me. I skid around corners and make my way to Dove's room at full speed. It seems I've gotten quite good at walking on all fours. See, what? You see that? You see that? It seems I've gotten quite good at walking on all fours. It's got to be a person. I break to a stop. I look around the dark hallway, my breath coming out in shallow puffs. Am I hearing things? My body feels overly warm under my fur, and I hear it again. I jump off the floor and spin around. My fur stands prickled from fright. Suspended in the air is a crow. Part of one, at least. Unlike the crows from a couple days ago, this one seems to be missing its body. Part of its spine protrudes from where its rotting flesh has been torn from its torso. It floats high in the air, hidden in the shadows of the ceiling. It screeches like a siren. Ooh, okay, Odette. See, that's something I would love to see. So one criticism that I have of this game so far, like I think the artwork is quite lovely. I think the ideas are cool. But besides like me saying like I feel like we don't need every single thing described, which is not like a bad thing, it just kind of feels like a little bit laborious to like read it points. Sort of like when I'm playing like Honkai Star Rail, is that they describe these really cool things or like things you just want to see and they don't have any art for it, right? So it's like, look about this hallway, for instance. We've seen this one hallway over and over and over again. No change from anything at all with these two doors and stuff. And like, it's well done right here. But even when the crows are smashing through the windows, we don't have like, even like the windows like breaking or anything. No different hallway at all. And like hearing about how the crows are is cool, but I would like to see the crows. You know, I would like to see the spiders and whatnot. But you know, still a lot of work put into this game, so I can't really complain about it. It's just that's kind of what I wish they had. I wince back from the shrill voice that the head creates. Suddenly, it's not the only one screaming bloody murder. Odette again. Odette. Damn, this thing must be screaming a lot. I sprint away from the screams, but they follow me down the hallway. At every new step I take, more and more floating heads manifest from the shadows and pierce my ears with their cries. My eyes are wide with panic and my skull rattles. The path before me distorts, twisting into a specially curated hell, while all I can do is run without a shred of respite. The fur around my ears starts to feel damp. Warm liquid runs down the side of my face. I see some of it drip onto the floor. Blood. I whimper as I continue to race towards Dove's room. When I finally reach it, I practically tumble into the room. I waste no time tossing the blanket on the floor aside. All that is left is the pouch with Odette's name and a lock of hair. I grab the pouch, take a deep breath, then return to the hallway. I follow the smell of wilting lilacs and burning parchment to find Dove again. The screeches of the crows' heads in the hallway all muffled all other sounds and left my ears ringing. Dove's scent leads me to the kitchen. Right as Odette attempts to take Dove out through the door that is no longer there, I watch as Odette bumps into the wall where the kitchen door used to be. The one I had used to enter this nightmarish place all those days ago. Dove sobs weakly from the burns. When she sees me, her eyes grow watery again. Help! I immediately drop the pouch from my mouth as I rush to Dove. My lips curl back, baring my teeth. I jump off the ground and latch onto one of Odette's arms. My eyes sting from the pain that surges through me, but I do not let go. This is nothing compared to what you did to Dove. I clamp my jaws even tighter, then Odette starts to howl. Even when the ghost's arms untangle from Dove's body, I do not let go. The ghost thrashes its arms, trying to throw me off. It throws my body against the wall, but I only hold on tighter. I whimper and growl in stubborn refusal. Aren't you supposed to care for Dove? You hurt her. I dig my teeth in further, now out of anger. Then I hear that sound. Wind chimes. I fall to the ground hard. My entire body aches. I gag and hack out a small amount of blood onto the floor. With blurry eyes, I look for Odette. She's completely gone. I search for Dove and my eyes squint at the sight of fire coming from the hearth. Beside it, Dove kneels limply against the wall, staring at her hands. Fingernails burn much easier than bones. I shiver. Guess I forgot. It didn't end well the first time it tried to take me away. Still trying to catch my breath when Dove rises. As she slowly drags herself out of the kitchen, I stumble after her as well. My whole body is tense as I watch Dove push into the study. I stay in the hallway, crushed against the wall to stay out of sight. Father. I hear a tired groan from someone just waking up. Has the witch been asleep this entire time? What is... Well, those look nasty. Was it that old hag again? Foolish thing. Here, put this on the burns. Thank you. I can hear Dove start to shuffle out of the room. Ah, oh yes. Is your doggy still alive? My heart stops. Well, he knows about me? Tension fills the air. It's so thick that it sticks to me like honey. I barely breathe. The sound of my heart thunders in my ears. Don't touch him. Dove's voice comes out hard. The witch laughs in response. Come now, darling. I'm sure you won't even remember this one after your mother returns. What? I hear stomping and draw back away from the sound. Dove bursts out of the study, eyes darting around until she finds me crouching in the dark with my tail between my legs. She bends down and gathers me into her arms, wincing from the burns all over her upper body, quickly retreats back to her room. It's dead quiet back in Dove's room, save for the soft pitter-patter of rain against the window. Dove sits on the floor with a single candle sitting in a brass holder beside her. She starts unbuttoning her nightgown. My eyes turn into saucers and I snap my head away from her. I try to distract myself by staring at anything else around the room, but I'm overly conscious of the sound of rustling clothing and Dove's quiet whimpers. I see pale skin from the corner of my eye and bright red marks. I do a double take and suck in a breath of the damage Odette had done to Dove. Phantom burns cross along the expanse of her back, arms, and neck. I see her struggle to apply ointment to the burns on her back and stand up from the floor. To do what exactly? Help her? My claws curl into my blanket. I bow my head, then curl into a ball facing away from Dove. Every time I hear her sniffle and suck in a watery breath, I have to hold back my own whine. The next time I wake up, it's the smoke. Something stale and acrid invades my nose and forces me out of my slumber. Then the feeling of cold, damp fur forces me awake. My eyes snap open. Gray smoke curls into the room from the hallway. Fire? The offensive odor that fills the room is not from a house fire, however. It stings my eyes and I feel tiny shocks where tendrils trail toward me. I can feel rain hitting me. The blanket I lay on is soaked with water. I turn my attention toward the window, then jump to my feet. Strong gales of wind push into the room, carrying the heavy rainstorm in with it. Rain floods the floorboards and ripples from every drop that cascades in from outside. Dove stands at the wide open window, holding onto the slick frames and breathing out in panicked pants. Her nightgown is drenched and her pitch black hair clings to her face and back. Her body trembles and holds unsteadily against the strong winds that slam into her. She does not look afraid in the slightest. In fact, as she looks out of the thundering sky, her wide eyes are flushed cold, and flushed cold cheeks make her look more alive than ever. She looks down at the ground. I wonder what Grell thought of as he fell. Did he have time to think of anything at all? My heart races. Rain beats against my face and gets in my eyes. I wonder what his real name was. And if someone out there is still looking for him. She looks back up at the gray clouds. Babel kept taking care of the garden and filling the flower vases. It didn't know why it had to. Grell wanted to leave. Didn't know why it had to. But Det wanted to take me away from here. Dove lets out a bitter laugh. Didn't even know why. She goes quiet. Frown appears on her face. Siri. Her face goes blank. Now you're more free than I'll ever be. Dove turns away from the window and starts to climb down. I watch in horror as her foot slips from the rain-slicked windowsill. I stand frozen. I save her. What are you, crazy? I howl and grab the back of Dove's dress before she can fall. I throw all my weight back and Dove stumbles backward into the room. She shrieks when she lands on the floor, right on her burns from the previous day. Violent knocking startles me. Dove! I recoil sharply when the witch breaks down Dove's door and strides into the room. His steps make the floor quake. The second he spots Dove crouching on the floor, he drops down to her level and pulls her to his arms. It's okay. I've got you. You're safe. The smell of smoke comes off of him so strongly I cringe back. The witch strokes Dove's hair and whispers soothing words to his daughter. It would be a warm display if not for the way Dove's entire body goes still. Her body does not move. I don't even see her breathing. Her eyes are completely hollow. The only move I see her make is her eyes flickering down to something on the floor. Her fingers twitch, then they start reaching for the candle holder beside them. Dread twists my gut. I watch with terror as Dove's fingers curl around the brass object. Before anything can happen, the witch scoops up his young daughter, and the candle holder slips out of her hand. The witch stands and starts to carry her out. Let's clean those, shall we? After the two of them leave, I pad over to the windows and swing the doors closed to stop any more rain from coming in. I can't lock it myself, so this will have to do. Then I look at the state of the bedroom door. The frame of the door and the locking mechanism hang in splinters. The storm continues to roar outside. I stand alone in the garden, soaked to the bone. All around me is decay. Without Babel tending to keep everything alive, all the flowers and plants have started to wither. The only thing left standing still is the rose bush. Rose bush. But even time is running out for it. Its petals have become a stark white. A snap makes my ear twitch. I watch silently as a rose head falls to the ground. It crumbles like ash when it hits the tilted floor. I turn away and head back out into the rain. I don't remember how long I've been up here. I return inside the mansion. I make my way back into Dove's room, and I see her in front of the study door. The witch's shadow engulfs her. I stop at a distance and watch as Dove presents something to her father. Cross. The one I had seen her working on. A new one. Dove nods. I hear the witch sigh. He studies the handmade cross. It's been getting quieter around here, don't you think? His question seems to catch Dove off guard. I observe the way her mouth parts slightly. She doesn't say a word. Red eyes gaze down at her. He knows. He knows everything we've been doing. The witch starts to turn away. Very well. Off to bed with you now. Dove steps back and the door to the study closes. Then she slowly turns and heads down the hall. I start trotting after her to catch up, but something catches my attention. I slow to a stop by the door of the study. My ears twist toward the sound coming from inside the room. It sounds like the clinking of a chain, just like what I had heard the first day I arrived. Dove's Moon.